I got your answer. To Dallas next, where Coach Mike McCarthy laid out his plans for Ezekiel Elliott now that the veteran running back is back with the Cowboys.
And the guy carried the ball more than anybody in the history of football in the first couple of years. That's not going to be his role. We're running back by committee, but I think he'll definitely play at the level that he's played. I know my time here. I anticipate that. I don't see any drop off in the way he moves. He's in good shape, and that's held true. He's come in here and is, like I said, it's like he picked up right where he left off.
Coach, running back by committee makes sense there in Dallas?
Yeah, he's familiar with the offense, and I think you run him in the red zone. You use him in situational football. Obviously down there, he's not a fumbler. He has a good ability to bounce off tackles, but he's a good pass protector, especially in the red zone when people try to bring pressure. He's done all this, and he understands the offense. He's been here before, so I think he's a guy about 15 touches a game is probably about right.
Sounds about right. At this point in his career, he has 2,421 touches in his 8-year career. That is 236 more than anyone else.
You got all
over
the numbers
that time.
today.
I sure do, Dan.
Yeah, so, okay. Listen, on one side, you can see what Mike McCarthy's saying to kind of like temper expectations a little bit with Zeke, but I do think it's accurate, right? Like, they were not getting Ezekiel Elliott to be their number one back. I think some people were kind of thinking that, actually. They were, a lot of Cowboys fans were very high on this, higher than I would have guessed, quite honestly, to go out and get Zeke. Obviously, I know the fans really like Zeke, but I guess you have to ask yourself the question of, like, what is your expectations for this coming season? Are you trying to win a Super Bowl? Are you trying to be competitive? Or are you just trying to have a pretty good year? Like, what is the expectations? Because I could understand if they went out and got a legitimate bona fide running back like a Saquon Barkley or a Derrick Henry, and then also added Ezekiel Elliott on the cheap. Like, to me, that would have excited me more. But now it's like, who's really going to be their main workhorse, dependable back, game in and game out? When you got to have it, you can go. And that's just not going to be Ezekiel Elliott. I think Ezekiel Elliott still has some stuff, still has some gas left in the tank. I do really believe that. People use his Patriots, his final year, his last year with the Patriots as a way to say, see, he's not that good, look how bad he is. But the Patriots were garbage. The Patriots had nothing going for them. Nothing going for them, okay? And so that is not on Ezekiel Elliott. So to use those numbers as a way to pull out Zeke, I think is unnecessary. But again, Zeke is obviously not the back that he was in his first few years of his career, and he doesn't need to be. And that's okay that he's not that back. It's really not, because he does do some great things. I do think he's actually a pretty good player from a cultural perspective as well, from a culture perspective, as well as just a good locker room guy. Although I question what type of impact he will have, since he did leave for that 1 year. It is a weird situation. It's like, the way I look at it like this, it's like if you were dating someone and you got to know their family, right? And you're pretty comfortable with their parents and their sisters and uncles and whatever and brothers, and now you break up with them, you get broken up with, and now you leave for like a year, and then you come back. It's just different. Yes, you know the family. Yes, but it's just different. You stand a little. You don't stand as high as you once were. You are a notch below. Everyone's a little bit more skeptical of you. They're like, is this really going to work? Do I really need to get to know you all over again? Are you going to be around for more than the next couple of months? Or are you going to be breaking up again? Like, it's just a different energy. And I think it's similar to what's happening with Ezekiel Elliott. I don't think he goes back into that locker room as like a main top guy of like, I'm Ezekiel Elliott. I am the Dallas Cowboys. I don't know if he has that. So that's why I think it's going to be a pretty interesting story to see unfold as to what his role is in the locker room. I know he's obviously very close with Dak, and that'll be good. I think any player, it's always good to have some support in the locker room, because it felt like Dak was kind of on an island, quite honestly, especially at the beginning preseason with them yelling at him during practices and stuff like that. Like, it doesn't seem like Dak necessarily has that locker room, right? It feels like Micah is more the leader, which is bad for the Cowboys because I don't think Micah's a good leader at all. I think that's problematic, quite honestly. I think if they actually built the culture around Dak, the Cowboys would be in a better position. Although I've called out Dak for not being good enough. So this is not my way of saying Dak is amazing and Dak deserves everything. Dak definitely does not deserve everything and definitely deserves criticism. But from a culture building perspective, I much rather build a culture around a Dak than a Micah, quite honestly, because Micah just loves to talk, and cause trouble. So to me, that is never a good situation, quite honestly. But that's why I do think having Zeke there does kind of put Dak in a little bit better of a position to lead. But that's only if Ezekiel Elliott is performing, right? If Ezekiel Elliott is only getting like 5 carries a game, 6 carries a game, and he's not really doing much, gets a yard here, gets a yard there. Sure, he picks up a good block and does some of those little things. It's just, I just don't know if it's enough to really have some pull. Because, again, you're getting Ezekiel Elliott not so much. Put it this way, if Ezekiel Elliott was available and he was never a Dallas Cowboys, I don't know if the Dallas Cowboys go out and get him, quite honestly. You know, that's kind of part of my point. A big reason why they went out and got Zeke is not because they were like, this is a great back. He's going to help us win. He's going to help us get us over the hump. They're like, we know Zeke. We know him very well. We know what he means to the fans. We know what he's like in the locker room. We believe that hopefully he'll be able to recapture some of that. That's why we got him. But if Ezekiel Elliott was never a Dallas Cowboy, I don't think they would have gotten him. I think it would have been definitely a lot less likely. So that's why I'm trying to figure out, like, what is the master intention behind getting Zeke and what impact will it have for the Dallas Cowboys? That, to me, largely remains to be unseen. But truthfully, I don't think that the Cowboys are going to be very competitive this season anyway. I think they'll be competitive within reason. Like, I don't think they're going to win 3 games, right? Like, I think they'll definitely do better than that. And I think they'll still be competitive within the division, against the Commanders, against the Eagles. But I do think that the Eagles take this division. But I do believe we'll see the similar path that the Cowboys have always done. I think they will beat up on the bad teams and they'll beat up on them good. And they'll probably lose to a lot of good teams. And a couple teams, the good teams, they'll play close. But I think this season, more than previous seasons, they'll do even worse. Because they haven't gotten better. And a lot of these other teams have gotten better. The Detroit Lions will be better. The Packers will be better. The Rams will be better. The Eagles will be better. The 49ers should be probably right about the same as they were. And that's NFC champions. So that's pretty darn good. So the Cowboys, to me, are one of the only competitive teams within the NFC that have not gotten better. So I just don't see them. I don't see how they will then play better. If they haven't gotten better and everyone else has gotten better, I'm failing to see how they will be better. So to me, that's more of the issue with the Cowboys than anything else. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you think the Cowboys' plans are with Ezekiel Elliott? You know, will he be a featured back or will he not be featured? Why do you think the Cowboys ultimately got him? Is it because of his personality? Is it because of what he represents for Dallas Cowboys in the past? Or do you think it's because of, no, he is still a great back and they can use him? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I'd absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.